So in the economic news, ports along the US East and Gulf coasts began reopening Thursday night after dock workers and port operators reached a wage agreement, ending the largest work stoppage in nearly 50 years. The deal between the International Longshoremen's Association and the US Maritime Alliance includes a 62% wage increase over 6 years. While the strike concluded earlier than expected, shipping stocks in Asia dropped as fears of a surge in freight rates subsided. However, clearing the backlog of at least 54 container ships caused by the three-day strike will take time. The European Commission confirmed on Friday that it will proceed with plans to impose significant tariffs on Chinese-made electrical vehicles, despite opposition from Germany, which has exposed divisions within the EU regarding trade relations with China. The proposed tariffs, which could reach up to 45%, are set to take effect next month and are intended to counter what the EU views as unfair Chinese subsidies following a year-long investigation. Global shares were mostly higher Friday after worsening tensions in the Middle East sent stocks lower on Wall Street, while boosting crude prices. In Europe, France's CAC 40 gained 0.5%. Britain's FTSE 100 slipped 0.3%. And in the United States, shares were set to drift lower, with Dow futures down nearly 0.1%. S&P 500 futures were little changed at 42,291. In Europe, Germany's DAX shed 0.7%. The CAC 40 in Paris gave up 0.8%. And in London, the FTSE 100 gained 0.2%. In Asia, Japan's benchmark Nikkei 225 edged up 0.2%. South Korea's Kospi added 0.3%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng jumped to 2.8% to 22,736.87. Trading was closed in Shanghai for a holiday. Oil prices surged on Friday, poised for a 9% increase for the week as investors considered the potential for an expanded conflict in the Middle East to disrupt crude supplies. This came in response to President Biden's comments regarding U.S. discussions about an Israeli strike on Iranian oil facilities. Brent crude futures were up at 0.85% at $78.28 a barrel as of 1 o'clock this afternoon. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures were up 0.85% at $74.34 a barrel. And gold prices fell on Friday after a stronger than expected U.S. jobs report boosted the dollar and caused analysts to scale back expectations of an aggressive rate cut from the Federal Reserve next month. Spot gold was nearly steady at $2,659.13 per ounce after scaling a record high of $2,685.42 last week. Spot gold was at $2,650.38 per ounce after a scaling record of a high of $2,685 last week. U.S. gold futures lost 0.3% to $2,670.3.